What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about some English villages in the Cotswolds. Now, like other Americans, I have definitely heard this word before, Cotswolds, but for the life of me, I have no idea where this is in England. So today I really want to check out this video by memory seekers about some of the most beautiful places in the Cotswolds. So let's take a look.
The Cotswolds is an expanse of sloping green hills and ancient picturesque towns and villages 2 hours west of London.
2 hours west of London. This is just like a random region in sort of Western England. And apparently it's known for being like beautiful and having these villages and okay, very good. That answers my question.
It is designated an area of outstanding natural beauty, and its quintessentially English charm spans 6 counties, predominantly Gloucestershire and Oxfordshire.
Oh my God. Look at this place. This literally looks out of like a child's fairy tale storybook or something. Like, this doesn't look real to me. It looks like a movie set. Like I would see this kind of thing in a movie, and it doesn't exist in real life. No, it's not supposed to, but it does. And I don't know. This is just one of the incredible things about the UK in general, is that you guys even have this kind of stuff. This old historical, like, preserved buildings and this architecture. There's brick. That person's walking their dog in this in this village from back in time like it's no big deal. Oh my God. Okay, let's keep going.
The tiny village of Castle Combe is our first stop, and it has been called the...
Look at that door even. Look at the door. Look at all the vines crawling up the wall of the house. Like, what? I'm telling you, for Americans, this is not supposed to exist. We don't have stuff like this here in the United States. I wasn't exactly aware that this was a thing that's actually existed somewhere. Like houses with like grass on the top and vines up the walls and cute little scenic villages with big wooden doors with metal handles. Like, that's awesome. This is already awesome, I can tell.
Prettiest village in England. Fairy tale cottages, a parish church,
and a few
pubs adorn this sleepy village, frozen in time and unchanged since the 1600s.
Yes.
The honey-coloured limestone brickwork, synonymous with the Cotswolds, give a warming glow even on a cloudy day. As with many villages, parking is restricted, and you'll need to use the free car park at the top of the village and walk down.
Okay.
Or try your luck with a few roadside spaces a little closer.
This really kind of like jars you out of the fairy tale a little bit. It's like this beautiful village, I think they said from the 1600s. That's another cool thing about like the UK and Britain is the history is old. You have an old history. You've been around a long time. Here in the United States, we haven't existed all that long in the, as a country. So we tend to not have old, cool stuff like this. But talking about like the parking lot, that honestly kind of jarred me out of this experience for a moment. Wow. A lot of people.
The focal point of the village, the 14th century medieval Market Cross monument, was sadly boarded up for repairs. but you
Okay.
might recognize this area as used in Steven Spielberg's 2010 film War Horse. Another
Oh,
notable movie filmed in the village was the 1967 hit Dr. Dolittle with Rex Harrison.
really? That doesn't shock me that this is a location where they film movies, like Hollywood movies. I was even talking about how this, to me, this looks like a movie set. Like they just built this last week to shoot a movie. Like there's no way this is just real and authentic. Wow.
St Andrew's Parish Church is a Grade 1 listed building and typical of village churches built around the 13th century.
Wow.
The medieval clock is one of the oldest in the country. Most of the building has been replaced or restored over the years to the same design, but the tower is still the original 15th century
That is
structure.
awesome. It's just, I don't know, it gives you like a chance to see what humans were capable of. I think we're still capable of this. But like knowing that people in England built all this like 400 years ago. There's something special about that.
The village. Today there's nothing left of this structure.
Wow. Wow. Very nice.
Lunch, afternoon or evening, then a couple of pubs offer food and drink to the weary traveller, and in summer you can sit outside. Walking down the hill to the river, you will pass the old rectory tea room and gift shop. Cream teas are available, but only if you pre-book.
Okay.
With all of our locations, we'll put links in the description to help you.
It is funny how some of this has clearly been like modernized. There's like little signs for TripAdvisor, like scan the app, and I guess that's just the reality of like the modern world. Even the Cotswolds here are a bit of a tourist destination by the look of it. It's not totally swamped or anything. It still looks very peaceful and like a nice experience. Look at these walls, man. I could just spend all day combing through this. How do you get the plants to perfectly grow along the side of the wall? Can someone tell me how to do that?
One of the classic and most photographed locations in the village is down on Water Lane and the weavers' cottages that hug the By Brook.
Oh, wow.
Back in the 15th century, weavers were deemed of high status for the felt work they accomplished on the cloth used in soldiers' uniforms.
Okay.
They could therefore pick prime property locations near rivers due to the water they needed as part of the fulling process. This used hot water and agitation to shrink the wool into felted garments. Apparently one of the properties was home to the Blanket brothers, and it's believed to be the birthplace of the blanket.
What? What? This is the fun fact? This is the birthplace of the blanket? Okay, you already sold me. Like, I was already a fan of this village in the Cotswolds. Castle Combe. You didn't have to sell me anymore. They also invented the blanket. I love it. Wow.
Driving the country lanes can be an adventure. Stepping just off the main road, the narrow lanes can catch you out with oncoming traffic.
I've heard in another video I did a while ago about some things that are different in the UK. I heard that the roads could get very narrow. And this is proof to me. Like, this road is meant for one car. In the United States, this is meant for one car. This would be a one-way road. And I always wondered, like, how do you navigate these really thin British roads? And it seems like you actually have to have some cooperation where you maybe pull over, let somebody go by, you have to be friendly. That's why it won't work in America. Now I get it.
Or locals walking their dogs. So take care and drive slowly, especially if you're used to driving on the other side of the road.
This road is so tiny. Wow. So peaceful. Man. Are there people who actually live here?
The
In this
19th
village?
century artist and craftsman William Morris called Byberry the most beautiful village in England when he visited it.
Wow.
The village is known for its 17th century stone cottages with steeply pitched roofs.
Hold on. Stop the video. Roll it back. I'm just so curious, like, how they... Well, if I can rewind it here. The way they get all these beautiful plants and vines to grow on the wall. I'm not even joking anymore. How do you do that? And is there any other reason other than it looks awesome? That is enough of a reason for me. But, yeah. That kind of makes, like, I don't know. That's what really sends this into fantasy land for me. Part of that is the plants on the buildings. That's really cool.
With steeply pitched roofs, and the famous Arlington Row weavers' cottages, which supplied cloth to the nearby Arlington Mill.
What? Moss?
Parking can be tricky here, with very few spaces in this chocolate box village, developed long before the motorcar.
Okay. Beautiful. Little stone bridges, water, babbling brooks. I don't even know if it's a brook. I don't know what a brook is, but it's a babbling brook. Little cottages attached to each other. I love this. Toilet sign. Toilet sign, okay. Ha! Look at that.
The US car manufacturer Henry Ford thought Arlington Row was an icon of England.
I gotta pause it. Look at this image right here. This is like... Is Frodo Baggins about to come running down the path looking for Gandalf to start his adventure? That's what this is to me. Like that level of fantasy. Look at the shingles on the roofs even. There's so many little details. The stone little fences. Oh, man. Just the architecture. The high roofs. The tall roofs. Oh, my. Yeah. Like, you just can't find something like this in the United States. This is... I totally get now why the Cotswolds is a famous word. A place. I just didn't know why until now.
On a trip to the Cotswolds, he tried to buy the entire row of houses to ship back to Michigan so that he could include them in Greenfield Village Museum. Luckily,
someone tried to buy these cottages and ship them to Michigan, like the United States? Like for a museum? What? That would have been cool for us. But that also seems like kind of wrong.
for us, his bid was unsuccessful. He did, however, manage to purchase a rose cottage in the 1930s from the village of Chedworth, so a small piece of the Cotswolds made its way to America.
Really? Okay. That's cool. Didn't know that.
Byberry has provided the backdrop of blockbuster films including Stardust and Bridget Jones' Diary.
Huh. These artistic shots. So cool.
Walking in a loop along the pretty paths by the river, Arlington Mill appears. This is now a private residence, but once housed a museum with a collection of period costumes produced by the Arlington weavers that lived in the cottages we just showed you.
It was a museum, but it's now a private residence. Does that mean there's actually people who, like, live in the Cotswolds? Because part of me was starting to think this is just a tourist destination, like a preserved part of English history where you visit, but you don't live. It sounds like some people actually live in this fantasy world, which is pretty darn cool. I can't even imagine living here. Wow. Wow. Such cool
Libraries
architecture.
should definitely not be missed on your Cotswolds tour.
Library. Oh, where are we going? Where are we going now?
Burford is a small medieval town in West Oxfordshire and is often referred to as the southern gateway to the Cotswolds as people arrive from the east on the A40 from Oxford.
Oh. You know, I didn't realize the Cotswolds. I thought it was like one place, like a village in England or something. It's clearly like a large area with many different villages. That's awesome. And I can already tell this place looks a little different. This is more of like a proper town or something, so I'm excited to see this. Sweet shop.
The long sloping
Faces.
high street is a mix of pretty cottages and ancient shops that have changed little since the Tudor times.
That's so freaking cool. You can tell these shops are old. Hold on, let me go back. Look at this. Look at this. That clock on top is ready to fall off. I would be honored to be crushed by that clock up there if it fell. Because it's history. Oh my god, you can tell how old some of these shops are, but it looks like they're actually still in use. That's awesome. If you can actually go in and use these.
Times. There are numerous tea rooms, craft stores, pubs and antique shops aplenty to entice you. Don't miss out on the side streets, which have charming, cute stores to view.
So cool! Wow. God, you could spend a lot of time in this town. There's just endless shops and endless things to see. And candy. Sweets. You really didn't have to encourage me anymore, but they got candy too. A barber.
The 15th century parish church of St John the Baptist is magnificent and well preserved. Work started back in the 12th century.
Oh my god. Yeah, that church in the first place, the first village, Castlecombe, was kinda like, okay, this is cool. Now we're on to something here. This thing is massive.
Is magnificent and well preserved. Work started back in the 12th century, originally funded by wealthy local farmers and merchants that had been successful in the local wool trade.
Wow.
They believed that making these donations would seal a place in heaven. A lengthy restoration of the church took place in the 1870s, bringing criticism from William Morris. The vicar at the time responded, "The church, sir, is mine, and if I choose to, I shall stand on my head in it." This inspired William Morris to establish the Society for the Protection of Ancient Buildings.
Wow. And thank God Britain and England has done such a good job preserving these buildings. Here in the United States, we have heritage sites that are protected, and it's like, I get a little worried because I know people might vandalize it or try, people visit like the Statue of Liberty or something and try to take a piece of it home, or it's a very American thing. There's not a lot of trust. So it seems nice that this kind of old protected part of English history, people seem to have been responsible in preserving and protecting it.
The elaborate tomb of St Lawrence Tanfield and his wife can be viewed in the North Chapel.
Oh, wow.
Tanfield was a prominent lawyer and politician who established a country seat in Burford in the 1580s. However, his reputation for corruption and harshness with tenants was remembered long after he died.
Oh my God.
The church has some beautiful architecture and stained glass windows, and we
Yes.
highly recommend visiting on your walk around Burford.
Very impressive. This church.
Next time in part 2 of this video.
Oh, there's a part 2. Maybe I'll have to check that out sometime. There's more. There's more. But for now, that was amazing. That was like my first ever introduction to the Cotswolds and what's there, what it's all about, and I was not disappointed. That was amazing. I totally get it now. It's beautiful. It's beyond words, really. It's a slice of English history, and it makes you feel like you've stepped into another dimension or something. So cool, especially as an American. Like, I'm just not exposed to stuff like this, nor do I at least get the comfort of knowing this exists in my country. This is very much something that I think only British people, like maybe this is kind of normal to you, but it's not for Americans. This was something very special. So I enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on the Cotswolds and a couple of the villages we saw here. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to the UK and British culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.